Hi, and welcome back to the Healthy Voyager. I'm Carolyn Scott, and this time you're joining me in Jordan.
Arguably the main reason that travelers visit Jordan, Petra and Wadi Rum are iconic locations that do not disappoint. Be you a history buff, a movie aficionado, or a geological travel fan, this episode is for you, as I'll be showcasing the best things to do in and around Petra and Wadi Rum, Jordan. Arriving in Wadi Musa, the town in which Petra is located in, you'll see the mountainside lined with hotels and restaurants for every kind of traveler, backpacker to luxury. It's a bustling little town, and you can feel the energy as it's filled with people waiting to catch their first glimpse of this wonder of the world. However, the Movenpick is the place to stay. It is the only hotel that is steps away from the entrance of Petra, and that is huge as every step you can take off your Petra adventure is key. It's a lot of walking. The Movenpick Petra is a luxury resort with an oriental flair that features an exciting combination of natural stone, handcrafted wood, and Middle Eastern fabrics and textures. With 183 luxury hotel rooms and suites, plus a wide variety of restaurants for your culinary cravings. Yes. Now, for one of the world's most extraordinary destinations, Petra. I've been all over the world, and I've seen incredible things. I've had once-in-a-lifetime experiences, but Petra ranks on my top 10, maybe even top 5 most mind-blowing places I've ever seen.
The treasury!
This place is magical, impressive, mysterious, and vast. There's just something about walking through the narrow slot canyon, the Al-Seek, and getting that first glimpse of the majestic treasury. It's even more amazing in person than I could have ever imagined. And that's just the beginning of this place. It's massive. Located amid rugged desert canyons and mountains in what is now the southwestern corner of the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan, Petra, also known as the Rose City, was a thriving trading center and the capital of the Nabatean Empire between 400 BC and AD 106. The city sat empty and near ruin for centuries until the 1800s. Today, visitors come from across the globe to experience Petra in person, maybe even just to walk in the footsteps of Indiana Jones. But Petra is so much more than just the treasury, because it was the capital of the Nabatean Empire for hundreds of years. The site spans miles of carved canyon buildings, monuments, and dwellings.
So, I'm with Jack Sparrow again.
Sophie!
And taking Zuzu to lunch.
Now, typically, I shun donkey rides in tourist areas, but here's what I learned during my time in Petra. Bedouins live in Petra. Yes, there's a whole community that lives in Petra and can't leave their home, so these rides are a means of income for them, among selling wares all around the site. As soon as you make it to the treasury, tourists are greeted by dozens of young Bedouin men offering donkey rides and yes, camel rides too, but for the photo op in front of the treasury only. The donkeys that these men are offering up are their actual donkeys that they use for their own transportation around their home of Petra, so not just for tourist trappings to save them from aching legs, feet, and blisters.
This is incredible!
So, can you do Petra in a day? Sure, but if you want to make it all the way to the monastery on the main trail, that's about 5 miles of walking round trip, so comfortable shoes and clothing are a must.
Heading up to the monastery.
The walk is flat from the visitor center all the way to the basin. However, there are many trails and monuments like the Royal Tombs, Theater, and Byzantine Church where climbing stairs will be involved, and to reach the monastery, be prepared to ascend the 800 uneven stone steps.
Well, I have made it to the monastery, which is at the very, very top after you've gone through the entire pathway through Petra. And I have to say, a lot of people don't make it up this far because it's quite a bit of a walk. It probably walking will take you all the way maybe 3 hours from the time you get to the treasury, and then you kind of snake your way through all of the other monuments. You can stop and have lunch at one of the basin restaurants, and then start making the climb. It's somewhere in the neighborhood between 800 and 900 stairs all the way up to the monastery, but it's pretty incredible.
Hanging out with my guide Sakar, I learned so much about not only the history of Petra, but also about modern Bedouin life and how he and his family live here today.
cave. And the cave.
Man cave.
Man cave.
Welcome to Petra, lady.
The sights within Petra are stunning, and there's so much to explore. I was fortunate to be able to get the inside scoop as well. Not only did I get to meet friends, cousins, and other family members, I'm grateful that I got to experience parts of the ancient site, both historic and modern, that most tourists don't get to.
So you can see the Petra Visitor Center is behind me, and it's dark out. But that's because I'm doing the Petra at night experience, which is just another magical way to see this mysterious site.
Petra After Dark is only offered on certain nights, so be sure to check with the visitor center for ticket information. The experience showcases the majesty of the treasury as it is lit up with colorful lights, the sound of live music bouncing off the canyon walls, and the candlelit ground matches the stars in the sky.
About to enter the canyon. This canyon is pretty magical, and I think we're getting close because the music started.
The experience of witnessing Petra After Dark with the help of lights and music is a lovely way to get one last glimpse of the awe-inspiring sight. It was time for a road trip to check out the Dana Biosphere Reserve, a few hours round trip from Wadi Musa. Travelers will get to see the sweeping Jordanian landscape as they head down the mountain and into a rustic Bedouin paradise that I got to witness at the Faynan Eco Lodge.
Well, as you can see behind me, this structure looks a little Bedouin style. I am at the Faynan Eco Lodge, which is located in the Biosphere Reserve. I'm going to have lunch here. Sadly, we don't have time to stay here this time around, but we will get to experience the lodge and what they do here, and also meet a Bedouin family. They're going to teach us how to make Arabic bread, and then have a nice meal here, which I heard is vegan vegetarian. Because it's an eco lodge, they do everything centered around living off of the land here. They do stargazing at night because it's away from all the light pollution. It seems like an incredible place. Let's go inside.
After a tour of the property, I walked over to meet a local Bedouin family to learn about and watch the process of how they make Bedouin bread. We gathered and drank tea while I observed how the bread is made from simple ingredients: flour, water, and salt, kneaded until it was ready to be shaped and placed to bake in the ash pit in the ground. Mother and son showed us the process while sharing stories about their beloved home and traditions. I was mesmerized at how the baking and the literal breaking of bread among us felt so familiar and comforting.
So I just watched Bedouin mother and son make their Bedouin bread, and it is so freaking good. Oh my god. It is like Bedouin pizza dough / focaccia. It's very simple to make, but they make it in the ash, and it's just terrific.
After several helpings of Bedouin bread dipped in olive oil, I headed back to Wadi Musa for one last treat at Petra Kitchen.
So just down the street from the Movenpick is Petra Kitchen, where everyone here is helping cook the meal for this evening. And what's super rad is a lot of it is vegan. So Healthy Voyager is gonna get her vegan on. Tomato duty.
A fun group Arabic cooking class and dinner. Petra Kitchen is a great place where each table of hungry students prepares a dish for the final feast. It's really fun and the meal turns out pretty great.
We are now being served all of the dishes that we made as a team.
The Petra Kitchen experience is super fun no matter who you're traveling with, and probably one of my favorite meals of the trip. It was time to leave Wadi Musa and head to my next iconic location, but not before one last pit stop.
Located not too far from the Petra area, there's Little Petra, which is just a little smaller version of it, much more easily walkable and easily accessible.
Little Petra is a nice, short stop to see some smaller scale stone-carved buildings. Historians believe that this place was built during the 1st century when the Nabatean city of Petra was at its peak, and Little Petra was sort of like a suburb.
Even though it's a much smaller version, it's still impressive. You see carvings. The way in through the slot canyon to here is much smaller, so for those who are intimidated by the amount of time and effort it takes to walk through all of Petra, this is a good option.
I said my goodbyes to Petra and off I went to Wadi Rum. This stunning and vast red desert has been made famous by several movies such as Lawrence of Arabia, Star Wars, The Martian, Dune, and Prometheus, to name a few. However, I'm willing to bet that Instagram has been quite influential as well.
Well, I have finally made it to Wadi Rum, and one of the most coveted things to do here in the desert, besides tours, is to stay at a bubble tent camp.
While you can see Wadi Rum on a Jeep tour in a few hours, my suggestion is that you stay the night at one of the Instagram famous bubble hotels so that you are able to experience sunset, stargazing, and sunrise in the desert. The landscape is truly magical and looks different at each time of day. Each camp is different in its own way, but many offer homemade food, warm Jordanian hospitality, entertainment, and yes, adventure. Considered to be a nature lover's paradise with its red sand and rock formations interspersed with lush green vegetation, it is a popular destination among adventure tourists who come here to indulge in hiking, trekking, rock climbing, or even just a place to relax at a resort that feels like you're on the surface of Mars. Also known as the Valley of the Moon, Wadi Rum has a rich history that dates back thousands of years. From ancient rock carvings to Bedouin settlements, this fascinating place offers a glimpse into the traditional way of life of the locals.
Apparently, here in Wadi Rum, the cavern behind me is where Lawrence of Arabia was shot.
No matter what your reason for visiting Wadi Rum, there is something for everyone. From hiking to stargazing, sandboarding to hot air ballooning, movie tours to sipping a cocktail on the deck of your bubble tent, the breathtaking views of the desert landscape and the warm hospitality of the Bedouin people make Wadi Rum a must-visit destination in Jordan. While it's a wrap on Petra and Wadi Rum, there's more Jordanian adventures to be had on the next Healthy Voyager, so stay tuned.